I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about when a partner silently breaks up with you.
This happens a lot more than you'd think.
It does, and it's so confusing when you're going through it because you're not sure what is going on and what the status of your relationship even is.
Yeah, and sometimes you can sense it. Before we get into it, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you would like to talk about your situation with us, head to the website and you can book from there.
That's right. You can only book through the website, so you'll never get any DMs or private messages. Be careful. There's a lot of scammers out there, and people do get scammed. So we do see a lot of breakups that haven't even officially happened, if you want to call it that. There's no discussion, there's no conversation, there's no talking about what happened, and it's so frustrating and confusing when you're in these situations because your ex is saying and doing a lot of different things that aren't making sense.
Right, and sometimes there's no mutual understanding. So there's not a moment where both of you say, okay, these are the terms of our relationship now. One partner decides for themselves in their mind that the relationship is over and doesn't communicate that with their partner.
Yeah, and if you're going through this, it's very confusing, and you're going to go through a lot of pain because you don't even know what the status is, and you're constantly wondering when they're going to reach out, if they're going to reach out. What does this even mean anymore?
And oftentimes it's at the point of the breakup that you realize that they've made this decision before. Sometimes they will tell you, I've been thinking about this for months. Sometimes they tell you, I haven't had feelings for you in years. And what you're left with is this feeling of betrayal, this feeling of being deceived or led on. Why didn't you tell me? Why would you make that agreement in your mind and not share what you were feeling or communicate with me? So sometimes you feel like you're bearing all the weight of this breakup while, your partner was slowly detaching from you. So that can be extremely painful.
Yeah, it is, because for a while it's been happening in their mind, but for you it's out of nowhere. And that is just like, wait, what?
Right.
I didn't even realize you were unhappy. So we're going to talk about some of the reasons, right? Like, why does somebody do this? Okay, why would they not want to have a conversation? There are some different reasons, and you may find yourself in one of these situations. So one of the big ones we see is like the convenience aspect of it. Maybe you're in a situation where financially you're sharing costs, you're living together, something like that, and they don't want to change that. Maybe they don't make as much money, and they're needing that extra help. I see that a lot of times where one of the partners doesn't make as much money as the other, and so they're kind of taking advantage of that person.
Yeah. And we had a video quite a while back talking about what increases commitment level in a partnership. And the harder that it was to break up caused people to stay together longer. And I bring this up because there are things that tie a couple together. This could be kids, this could be finances, housing, if both names are on a lease, if the two of you have a business together. And so that decision to break up becomes that much harder because you also have to figure out the practicalities of separating your enmeshed lives, which can be really, really tough.
Yeah, and that's another big one, is that enmeshed lives, you think of families, okay? You got kids together, maybe there's family, maybe there's a family business, whatever it may be. Those things can make it really difficult to end that relationship, and they struggle with it. They don't know what to do. They're not sure if they want to go through it. If you have kids, that makes it particularly difficult because you're always thinking about your kids and their feelings and what they need and their happiness. And so as a parent, you know, you might be thinking, man, I really am not feeling like this relationship is going anywhere. But at the same time, you don't want to end it because you don't want to see your kids depressed or all of a sudden their whole lives are ripped apart.
Yeah.
And so they kind of aren't sure where to go with it.
And when you have a partnership, especially a longer term partnership or a really serious one, a breakup rarely just affects the two of you. You know, normally family members, other people are emotionally invested and involved too. And so that could keep someone from calling the shot and making a decision. We also want to talk about communication issues, mental health issues. We know that people who are experiencing depression, they oftentimes feel low motivation. They often have a hard time making decisions in general and executing them.
Yeah.
And so
or having the energy to do it.
Yeah. And let alone deal with the grief that comes after that and dealing with the repercussions of a breakup. And so mental health issues completely can be a reason as to why someone doesn't share. And I want to be clear here, we're talking about reasons and not excuses. You know, we're not saying that it's okay to withhold your feelings and to lead your partner on. But what we do want to promote is understanding around this circumstance. You know, it can help you move through it a little bit better if you understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
Another big one is attachment styles. And this can go both ways. You know, somebody who has a more anxious attachment style may withhold sharing because they still fear that abandonment, even if they do want to end the relationship. I know it can sound very twisted, but maybe their needs aren't getting met. Maybe they are, you know, thinking about someone else to line up in the background to transition to. Maybe somebody who's more avoidant will be avoiding that confrontation, avoiding the emotion that they might feel or you might feel once they end a relationship. So those are really big concerns.
Absolutely.
And communication. You know, I had mentioned that in talking about attachment styles because, of course, the insecure styles have trouble communicating. That's part of it. But knowing how to say it, the delivery, the words to choose, can be really tough. I don't know if you've ever had to tell your parents something that you did when you got in trouble when you were a kid, but I remember it was never the right moment. That's an awful feeling. It was never, ever the right moment. I couldn't find the right moment.
It's true.
You know, your mom's making pasta or whatever, and you're just sitting there like, should I say it now? If I start the conversation, I'm going to have to sit through it.
That's so true.
So, you know, the anticipation builds, the anxiety builds, and it's one of those things that grows bigger the more you ignore it.
You're not ready for all the turmoil and all the consequences that come with it.
Right.
It's a great point.
And sometimes you might fear that you lack the communication skills to have that conversation. And so that can be really scary, you know, thinking, well, what if my partner, you know, has a big reaction that I don't know how to deal with? You know, so these can be some things that are holding people back.
Absolutely. And when you're in this situation, it can be confusing because it likely doesn't happen like a lot at once. It's probably slowly over time that you start to notice that partner is investing less and less in you and the situation. And they may even be reassuring you, I'm fine. Everything is fine.
The worst.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, no, nothing's wrong. I'm fine. I'm just tired. I'm just stressed lately.
Man, that's
stress
the
from
worst.
texting all these women, right?
That's the worst, you know, because you feel like you're doing your due diligence as a partner to check in, to try to have these conversations, because a lot of times we are sensing beings. We can feel that our partner's energy is off. And so we try to kickstart that conversation. And then when we're met with false reassurance, you know, our gut is saying, nope, something is up here, but we're hearing everything is okay. We don't know what to believe.
Yeah, those mixed messages really throw you off.
Yeah. And so despite your partner thinking about a breakup or deciding in their mind before they execute, the breakup still affects them. Nobody on this planet can escape grief. You know, and everyone has their own grief process. And it feels very different to think about breaking up with a partner, to imagine it, to want it, to agree in your mind that the relationship is over, and then it actually happening.
That is such a huge point right there that people don't really get. But it happens with a lot of different things, not just breaking up. It also happens with like escalating the relationship, where the idea of like, oh, we're going to get married and move in together and have kids, it sounds great and wonderful, and then you get closer to doing it and one of them is running the other direction. Right.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, our imagined reality versus reality is very different.
Yep.
And you know, the grief hits a partner when they end a relationship eventually at some point. And so keep that in mind. And it does take courage to break up. It does take respecting your partner enough to have those conversations. You know, so keep in mind, if your partner is saying that they felt unhappy for years before ending it, it makes me question, you know, how well do you communicate? You know, why didn't you have the courage to bring this up? It could also be that they were afraid that, you know, they would have an explosive reaction or an angry reaction, or maybe they were afraid for their safety, emotional or otherwise. You know, so this topic is great because it's self-reflective and also causes you to reflect on your partner and some of the reasons why they would withhold those things.
Yeah.
So we thought it was helpful to bring up.
Yeah. It's not right when somebody doesn't express to you where they're at with things. We're not trying to justify it. We're just trying to help you understand why they might be doing it, because it happens a lot more than you think. I get a lot of people that will say to me, I don't know where we're at. I don't know what's going on. You know, we haven't talked in 2 months, but I don't think we're broken up yet. I don't know, you know, it's just an example. Obviously, there's so many different situations that it makes it confusing when you're going through it. So
Yeah.
hopefully this has helped you navigate it and understand it. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, we can help you through that. You could go to my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.